Welcome in. Hello, it's Kirsten Liebelt. Jump on in. It is Wednesday. Oh, let's see here. What's the date today? It is February something. I think it's the 19th. It's February 19th. Actually, I do know that, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So it's February 19th. Jump on in. Today, we're going to talk again about insulin resistance, but here is our topic for today, okay? I actually think that this is one of the most important topics, and it's kind of the one that we try to skirt around and over all the time. But let's just kind of dive into it. So the name of the show today is, can you get obese without insulin? The truth about carbs, grains, and legumes when you are insulin resistant. Good morning, Matt. How are you? Matt in Tennessee, how are you doing on your 200 acres? Good morning, Terry. Snowy, cold Tennessee. Oh my gosh. Well, we are very cold up here, but we haven't had a ton of snow yet. Isn't that weird to say? Minnesota doesn't have the snow as a lot of other places do. You're snowed in, Matt. That is crazy. So apparently this is why Tennessee is on this morning. Both Terry and Matt were from Tennessee. We're snowed in. So we're online, baby. This is how we have a connection to the world. Okay, so I always want people just to know, like, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. How are you doing? Every week we do this, like Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We talk about insulin resistance. It's what I was able to turn around for myself, and I was shocked actually this week. My dad died of type 2 when he was 63. So this is very near and dear to my heart. But this week when I got one of my testimonies, she said she's been starting to talk to her niece about this. And her niece actually thought that a type 2 diagnosis was like a death sentence, and that she had no idea that this was turnaroundable. No idea. So there are, every day that I come on, especially on TikTok, I know that strangers will see my information, and I know that it will give hope to somebody. I know it will, because I know the testimonies that I get, right? And the way that I turned back mine so that I could be the only one in my family, the only one in my immediate Italian family that avoided type 2 diabetes. That's me. I did it through supplementation. And then I figured out how to trade out my food. So today we're going to talk about food just a teeny tiny bit, because I feel like this is the one that really trips us up. And it's not really, how do I say? I mean, I'm a high responsibility person, but it's really not your fault. What? It's not your fault. You're really being marketed to, and you've really been indoctrinated, and it takes time to like release yourself of the indoctrination. I'm just telling you like the truth. Takes a long time to decide that, wow, what we've been told has been massively incorrect. So let me know if you're on the replay. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe if you want to be like encouraged and resourced towards going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, so that you can actually take back your health. I have a customer that just texted me in January 3 weeks ago and said they put not diabetic in her chart. She started in July. I'm just saying. And also too, yesterday and the day before, we did really good reviews on some testimonies of losing visceral fat inches off of belly and hips. I highly recommend you look at that. I think you would not be sad at all if you saw some of those testimonies, and then you can always reach out to me. All right. So can you get obese without insulin? You guys, it's all about hormones. This is all a hormonal conversation. They say that you need to have a balanced diet, right? We hear this all the time. It's all about balance, honey. It's all about balance. But what if that balance is making you insulin resistant? So this is where the conversation always starts, because what did they teach us? What did you learn in school and I learned in school? We had a food pyramid. All of our food pyramids looked the same if we're in the United States, for sure, right? But do you know that not one medical person created that food pyramid? Has that ever like crossed your mind? Because this is stuff I never thought about either. It is the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. Okay, so that means immediately that there is interest in how it was created. Now, if we are as a society getting fatter and more medicated and more sick over the decades since something like that has been put into place, do we not have to ask ourselves what the heck is going on? Now, there are many factors. I'm not confused, right? There are many, many factors. Good to see you guys on TikTok. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys very much. We have to really dissect some of this and ask ourselves these questions. Okay. I was gestational diabetic with my first baby back in my 20s. And then I didn't do anything until my upper 40s. When I came into my 50s, you guys, I didn't know any of this. I was such a freaking hot mess express. You have no idea. And if I can get my ish together, so can you. I am just promising you, if I can do this, anybody can do this. I'm Italian. Thinking of trading out these foods is literally the reason why I started with supplements, because I was looking everywhere I could. What is the path of least resistance? What is the path of least resistance? Don't take away my emotional connections. I am not kidding you. So if I can do this, I promise you, so can you. It's just a mind shift of understanding why this is happening. So if you can understand why, I am so convinced that you will then take action that supports what you need. And man, I'm telling you what, then you can have the testimonies of people losing 40 pounds, 45 pounds, 20 pounds in let's see, one was 5 months, one was 5 months, one was 7 months, and one was 8 months. Just those three alone. And this is last year. All right. That's just a few. All right. So can you get obese without insulin? The answer might shock you. Introducing, so Eli Jarouge, does anybody know who I mean? Dr. Eli, he was talking about why it's crucial for people struggling with weight and metabolic health to really consider the fact that you need to look at things through the lens of insulin resistance. This is what I talk about, you guys. This is my core conversation right here. All right. You have to challenge the mainstream idea of balanced diet by addressing the myths about grains and legumes and carbs. I understand people are like, well, that's not sustainable and that's not wise and you're missing out on food groups and blah, 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 blah. I'm not even talking about being carnivore, even though I understand the benefits of it and I see it all the time, especially with mental health and autoimmune diseases. Carnivore is very, very beneficial. However, you have to ask yourself every time you put something in your mouth, once you know that you are insulin resistant, is this spiking my sugars? Because what is the correlation? What is the track? What is the continuum? The continuum is this. You begin this life of spiking your sugars, and a normal body that is not insulin resistant, the pancreas releases insulin, it grabs the sugar, it takes it into the cell, all is right with the world. You have energy, and that insulin is not needing to store anything as fat. It's just doing its job. But the more you do this, boom, 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 you're spiking, and it's years and decades. Years and decades, your insulin is rising. And you don't know it because the doctor is not giving you a fasting insulin test. He's waiting for your sugars to not come down. Why didn't he just check over here? Okay, it's a really good question. But nonetheless, this is where we are. So your insulin stays high. And after a while, your cell closes the door to the insulin, bringing the sugar into the storage unit. Because it's like, we're kind of stuffed over here, and you're a little toxic. You just need to go away. So it stops what's going on. So what happens then is your insulin begins to just store everything that you are eating and spiking your sugars with, storing it as fat. So this is how we become more and more obese. This is how I'm having a conversation with you in my inbox all day, every day, while I sleep. Sometimes I wake up with messages, right? It's belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat, belly fat. Yep, because the continuum was your insulin was rising. You had no idea. You didn't know. You didn't know that insulin was a hormone. You didn't know that it was storing fat. You didn't know that it was tipping upside down all of your other hormones. You just didn't know because nobody was having this conversation with you. And for women, this really sucks. I do have a lot of guys that are also my customers and reaching out and asking because they need to deal with their big hard belly too. But for women, this is really problematic because then we think we're just freaking crazy people. We think we're just wackadoos in our 40s. And we wonder, where did the old me go? And why am I so nutso? Why do I have all this anxiety? Why do I fill in the blank? Like I could go on that for an hour. I won't. But all of the symptoms that we have, hey, Julie, good to see you. All of the symptoms that we have of upside down hormones, we're like, what's wrong with us? Well, it probably, and not always, right? I'm not the doctor, but probably started with insulin resistance and you had no idea. That's the frustrating part about this whole thing. So let's go ahead and fix that. Jacqueline, Easton, Pennsylvania. Good to see you. Good morning from Wichita, Kansas. Kim, all over the United States. You guys are awesome. Good to see you guys. Very, very good. Okay, so this is how this goes. The role of insulin in obesity. Listen up. If you don't get anything else, understand this because then you will stop depriving yourself, thinking that, oh, I have to deprive myself. Oh, poor me. Or you'll stop playing the victim and you will also maybe stop feeling like me. This was me. Well, I've been doing pretty good. I should probably reward myself with those sweet potato fries at Red Robin. Just me? Was that just me? Okay, maybe. All right, so point 1, insulin locks fat away. When insulin is high, fat burning, lipolysis is blocked. You are thinking, what is wrong? Am I broken? I can't lose any fat. I can't believe the fat on my back and on my belly and on my thighs and the inside of my knees, et cetera, et cetera. All of these things, we're like so dang frustrated. I can't lose fat. You and I mostly have the conversation, I can't lose any weight. We say weight. What we mean is fat. Well, let's read that again. So insulin locks away fat. When insulin is high, fat burning is blocked. It's blocked, it's blocked, it's blocked. So when you are thinking it's a really good idea to be eating, let's just say, we'll get into the different, because, grains and legumes are very high spiking in your sugars. And I know what we've been taught. I'm not confused. But if they're spiking your sugars and calling on insulin and you are resistant, which is probably why you're on my content, if you know you're resistant, your fat burning is blocked if you just keep on eating things that are spiking your sugars. It's science. Okay. So point number 2 is insulin drives your hunger and your overeating. Oh my gosh, why am I so hungry? Oh my gosh, why am I so hungry? Oh my gosh, why am I so hungry? What if it's not because you're just lame without willpower? What if you reframe this? So the more insulin you produce, the hungrier you feel. Are you tracking? Eating food that spikes your sugars, you need more insulin, more insulin, more insulin, more insulin. Creating hunger, overeating, blocking fat loss, blocking your belly fat leaving your body. Okay, tracking. Number 3, insulin converts carbs into fat. It's just what it does because it's looking for that sugar. Your body actually wants sugar for fuel. It wants it. But we just gave it too much for so many years. And over a period of time, we have to shift the way we're doing it because now we just went overboard. We went right over the cliff. And now we need to get our body to switch from burning sugar to burning fat. From burning sugar to burning fat. Okay. So insulin converts carbs into fat, lipogenesis. Okay. High carb foods fuel fat storage. All right, if I'm sure everybody's tracking. So why are low carb, grain free? Why are we doing this? Why are we talking about being, low carb? And we're going to try to throw out all of this misinformation, all of this bad, stupid, dumb, awful, terrible, horrible marketing that has you thinking all sorts of BS and ish. Okay. Just get rid of it because it's not serving you. And I promise you, when you begin to follow a blueprint of transformation, like what I have created for you guys, when you do that and you start to rein it in, you actually get real results. And then instead of having shame and guilt, you are proud of yourself. You are tucking in a shirt and you're like, oh, look at me. You're proud of yourself. Exchange your shame and your guilt for pride in your ability to actually move forward. Telling it's a completely different game. You have different emotions inside of you when you're able to do things like this. But you have to learn how to put shame away, no shame, and you have to learn how to embrace something that will actually get you results so that you can be proud of yourself. Okay, so grains and legumes are not essential for health. I know that really goes against a lot of people's thought processes and belief systems. I get it. I really do. But they're not actually essential. They don't have all of the essential amino acids that you need. Now, I'm not saying that you should never have eaten them. I'm just saying that now that you're insulin resistant, we have to change our lens. If you want to bring down your visceral fat, if you want to bring down your sugars, you want to bring down your insulin, you want to bring down your weight, you want to bring down your HBP, you want to bring down your risk of heart disease, you want to bring down your triglycerides, you want to bring down that fatty liver, do you get it? Because all of that came from this insulin resistance. It all came from this pillar. There's only one pillar that this is all coming from most of the time. I understand. We have genetic things that, I get it. But in my world of 500 hours of one conversation, we have one pillar that we're talking about, okay? So they are high in carbs and they spike your blood sugar. The only bean that doesn't spike your blood sugar really is green beans. The rest of them are huge in carbs, 40 grams per cup for pinto and kidney and black. And I'm not saying God made bad food. Don't ever, ever think that that's what I'm saying. God did not make mistakes in the food that he gave us. We just went a certain direction and now we're trying to reverse it. Does that make sense? Okay. So it worsens your insulin resistance. Legume protein is not equal to animal protein. It's just not. Animal protein supports muscle without spiking insulin. Your conversation in your head all day long should be, is this going to spike my sugars and call on more insulin? Am I going to have to is my pancreas going to have to release a lot of insulin to deal with what I'm about to eat? That's your conversation. Even if that's weird. Thank you, Reality Check 04. I so appreciate you very, very, very much. Thank you. That is the conversation in your head. Is this going to you don't even have to say it out loud because people think you're crazy, right? Don't do that. Don't be talking out loud. But it's is this going to I'm going to need more insulin to deal with this, what I'm about to eat, that Jamba Juice or that Frappuccino or that Subway sandwich or that bowl of oatmeal. Do you have any idea how much that spikes your sugars? Okay. I'm just telling you the truth about these things. And I know people want to be like, oh, you take the fiber and you subtract this and then you put this over on that shelf and then you close the door over there. No. If we all wore continuous glucose monitors, we would know what is spiking our sugars and what is not. And then you would know what to stay away from and you wouldn't have to listen to the marketing. Okay. So carbs are not a required nutrient. Your body can create glucose as needed. Your body will create glucose for fuel from literally the steak that you eat, from the eggs that you eat. It'll create it. You don't have to eat sugar to create glucose. Hope somebody's listening to that. You don't have to do that. You can, and again, this isn't my pitch for carnivore. This is my pitch for just paying attention to getting real, because this is the hardest thing that I get people to understand, because our brains want to go, but wait a second, I just walked past that. I was just in Sam's Club the other day with my daughter, a 2-pack of keto bread. Do you understand? Every time you look at stuff, it's telling you that it's okay to eat it. Because the marketing is there. So you're being talked to all the time and you have to be the decipherer. You have to be the one who does your own research. You have to be the one that asks yourself that question. How high is this going to spike my sugar so that it calls on insulin to deal with it? Because that's your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. It's going to deal with it. But if it's going to store fat on you, Did you not just defeat your purpose? Are you not just that much more frustrated? You're like, well, I can't imagine why I can't get rid of my belly fat. I eat clean. And what most people think when they say they eat clean, what most people are saying to me is, I eat my whole grains and I eat I eat good, like I'm healthy. I'm eating all my beans for my protein, etc. I'm just telling you, like your best friend, like pretend we have a cup of coffee here going. I'm telling you, like your best friend, if you are insulin resistant, this is working backwards for you. And you're like, what is going on? Is it my age? Is it my age? Am I just getting older? Well, I mean, not to be a broken record or anything, but I have a customer turning 75 on March 1st, and she's lost 45 pounds since August 28th. So is it your age? Is that the excuse, right? Nope. Because your body is a scientific conversation. Insulin blocks fat loss. If you put on a shirt every day and you knew that that shirt was going to block fat loss, you would never take it out of your closet. You would probably throw it in the garbage. You probably wouldn't even want it in your house. Am I right? You would not want anything in your life that said, literally, I block fat loss. Put me on. You'd be like, heck no. Or if it said, I store fat, I'm going to store more fat on your body, you would never want that in your life. You would want it far, far, far away from you. It's the same thing when you're constantly spiking insulin and you are insulin resistant. It's all about that hormone and the fat creation and the blocking of losing of fat. Okay, so rethinking about what you've been told about diet, this can be really hard. So let's get into protein thought processes. How in the world do you get the proper protein? And I was thinking about doing like a Zoom invite. You guys can tell me what you think. Where maybe for, like 20 minutes or so, we go over kind of some of the food portions of how to eat for insulin resistance, where we take 20 minutes to a half an hour and we actually really, talk about some things, and then we can do a Q&A and stuff like that. I think about these things because this is one of the issues that a lot of people have. Tammy, good morning. Terry, you used to be hungry all the time, even after a large meal. People would look at me like I was speaking a foreign language when I tried to explain it. Good morning, Claudette. Isn't that something? It's so interesting to me because we have been so programmed to believe that it is a character flaw that we are still hungry, or that we have so much food noise. And it's not a character flaw. It's a system. Like the word that came to me was like a malfunction, but it's a dysfunction. It's a system dysfunction. Metabolic syndrome, metabolic dysfunction. Things are not firing properly. And I just want you to know that there is a fix for this. There's a fix, and it's probably easier than you thought it was. But the only fix we're ever told about happens to be with medication. And that's frustrating. I know I missed something. Julie, I know I'm going back, Julie. I'm sorry. Cow laying on the psychologist's couch. I don't know, doctor. I think it's the rest of the herd. Oh my gosh. Julie, you are hysterical. Thank you for making my day so much better. Claudette, that sounds wonderful to me. Yes, system malfunction. That's the word that came to me as well. Very good. Out of 9 children that my parents I had, I was always chubby, but yet I was served with the same amount of food as them as a child. I'm just telling you. It's so interesting. And I was fed large amounts of ice cream as a child because my mother was told that that was a good way of getting calcium into us. So that's what was really messing us up. Okay, let's just give you some answers then. When you're looking at protein, then for the day, if you're not getting your protein from legumes because they're spiking your sugars, and you're not eating grains anymore because grains are um, high sugar spiking, like, and that includes keto bread, keto, anything keto that has grain in it, or as a little side note, a lot of people think that if they go gluten free, that that's what makes the difference. Gluten has nothing to do with your sugar spiking. Gluten is just a sensitivity for some people. It's being grain free. So anyway, so that's why the food thought process in my head to help people out. Okay. Shoot for over 100 grams of protein a day. Try to shoot for your goal weight in grams of protein. So if your goal weight is 140, try to get 140 grams of protein in a day. That's a good gauge because you need protein for muscle mass. It stabilizes your blood sugar. It keeps you full and satiated so that you stop freaking out in your brain. So that you stop. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the #1 gifter badge, Mary Walker. God, I appreciate you so, so much. Thank you. You need to stop the noise in your brain so you can stop thinking that you're crazy. Okay. So these are some examples. So if you're eating ground beef, hold on. I'm going to ask a question. Uno momento, por favor. Okay, so 3 ounces of chicken breast. That's about the size of a deck of cards. 26 grams of protein. That's very good. Ground beef, 3 ounces, about the size of your palm. 21 grams of protein. Salmon or tuna, a handful, about 25 grams of protein. Shrimp, 6 large shrimp is 12. 2 large eggs is 12. A little thumb size of cheese is 7. Isn't that interesting to know, right? And then Greek yogurt, half a cup of Greek yogurt is 10. Greek yogurt, full fat, plain is the way that you should buy that. You can also incorporate things like, depending upon, and I will overeat nuts and seeds. So I know this about myself. And you do have a calorie conversation in here. Like if you overeat food, you will still stall your weight loss. So even when you are keto, so you do have to be careful. It's not just about the carbs all the time. I know that for me, I'll overeat nuts because I just love them so much. However, pumpkin seeds, and again, I don't know the amount that they're giving me on that. Here we go. Pumpkin seeds, 2 tablespoons is 5 grams of protein. That's pretty good. So if you put pumpkin seeds on or you snack on them a little bit. Hemp seeds, 2 tablespoons, 6 grams. Chia, 5. And nutritional yeast, 8 for 2 tablespoons. And some people will use that. And then let me see here. And I actually didn't even mention nuts in that. So that works. Coconut flour. I don't know the amount on that, but it would be 18 grams of protein. So coconut flour is really high. Did it give me coconut flour? It did not. Okay. So Greek yogurt, that half cup is 10. Cottage cheese, half cup is 14. So cottage cheese, full fat, everything's full fat, is higher than Greek. And then whey protein isolate, 1 scoop is 20 to 25 grams of protein. I actually have today, this is why I know it's the 19th. I've been waiting for this launch for a really long time. Today, they just launched a grass-fed whey protein at 30 grams, 5 ingredients. 5 ingredients. Amazing. Sweetened with stevia. So definitely like hit me up in Messenger or my DMs if you want information on that, chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla. I will be ordering today for sure. I've been waiting for that because whey protein, plant proteins are not as complete. They can be, like I do have, and I don't do plant protein in the way that, because it has grains in it. So I stay away from that. But for somebody who is doing like a plant protein, you can get really good ones. Like my line does have an excellent one that is organic and it has, they've added, whatever. It's got all the amino acids and it's got all the things. So that is very, very, you can do that. But I do focus more on, like, this is a whey protein. Whey protein is very bioavailable and it will work very quickly in your system. So like, let's say you go and you're doing some resistance training on your muscles, and then you have a little bit of a protein shake to repair and help rebuild those muscles, you can go far. So if one serving of that is 30 grams of protein, the one that I'll be using, that gets me very close to my goal very fast, right? Like very fast. And like, I think maybe one carb, and it's sweetened with stevia. So like, I'm excited because that is a way for people to actually be able to supplement their protein intake when they're like, I don't know, like, I'm just not, it's almost like the more streamlined you become in your eating of, like, let's say meat and eggs, etc., because your blood sugar is so freaking stable, you're not starving all the time like you were when you were eating the grains and the legumes and the carbs. You're just not hungry because your body is starting return to metabolic function from metabolic dysfunction. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. See you later, Matt. Have a really good day. Have a good day. You'll stay. See you later, Matt. Be super, super blessed. And I just pray that your land is so fruitful and amazing. So have a good day. So that's kind of like, once you realize how you can break it down, it really does make sense. Is it easy to get to 200 grams of protein? Well, it depends. And 200 is, that is high. I would say getting to 200 grams of protein can feel a little mountainous, but I'm going to tell you why. So if you get up in the morning and you have, 2 or 3 eggs, and then you have a chicken sausage, you're full. You're not stuffed like you just stuffed yourself, but you're full and you're satisfied for hours because you're just so whatever. So therefore, then eating again, it makes it like, because you're like, I'm not necessarily hungry. And then when you are, if you focus on protein again, I've got to get a Kleenex. I apologize. I'm going to sneeze. That's my problem. I'm trying not to sneeze, and that's not working. I'm like, anyway, then what happens is you just keep on doing the good thing, the right thing of focusing on the protein to keep your blood sugar stable and to not spike your sugars so that you call on insulin so that you store more fat. You're doing the right thing, but it just keeps you full and satiated for so long. And that does then make it harder. So for me, if I can supplement with something that is decent, I mean, a grass-fed whey protein, are you kidding me? Like, sweetened with stevia, like, this is a very good opportunity for me to be able to really up my protein. And recently I started to do some resistance training in the gym because my shoulder, this is the one I had surgery on when I was 50. I had rotator cuff and then it froze on me, blah, 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 which was another sign of my insulin resistance that I didn't know about. And I asked so many doctors, what's the deal with the frozen shoulder and the women in perimenopause, menopause? And, oh, we don't know. I'm so tired of that answer from our medical community that we're told to trust implicitly. Anyway, so after I work out now, because my husband and I, we've been doing this 3 days a week, I can have a protein shake. Like I said, I'll grab my grass-fed whey protein, mix that up, and repair what I'm working on with all my muscles that I don't know the names of any of them. I'm not a gym rat. I just never have been. But I do know that if I build up my hamstrings, if I build up my legs, if I build up my quads and my hammies and all that stuff, whatever that all is, right? That is a key to longevity, is to have really strong legs. Okay. The more muscle you have, the more stable your blood sugar is, the more stability you have as you're getting older, because we're all getting older. I just turned 60, and we want to make sure that we are having function and stability. The only point that my mother could not live with me any longer when she was 93 years old, 93. She died a week after she turned 94. So when she was 93 years old, the only reason she had to leave my home was because she couldn't walk anymore. Because all of a sudden, now this is because her brain told her legs, wasn't communicating with her legs because she had dementia. But when your muscles give out, when you have to be maybe bedridden, you atrophy very fast. You have to have stability. You have to keep your muscles going. It's so dang important. See you later, Matt. So that is what is going on with that. Okay, so when it comes to send info, I will, Jacqueline, I will do that. You're welcome. Do you want strawberry, chocolate, or vanilla? It is not the most inexpensive protein that you're going to see on the market. This is not a Costco deal. I'm just telling you that. This is a grass-fed whey protein with 5 ingredients. This is a very good protein. So, but I will send it to you for sure. And I think I'm going to order vanilla first because I have a lot of like frozen strawberries in my freezer. And I can just mix it up in that, like in my Vitamix. And so I'm going to do that. But anyway, that's just me. I'm going to turn it into a strawberry shake because I'm a sweet person. And so that's how that goes. But now for anybody who is like, this is the deal. When you start your own journey, I'm just going to tell you what my blueprint of transformation is, and you can decide whether or not it resonates with you. So you know exactly. Rubber heart stamps. I'm going to write that down and see if I can find you when I get off, because sometimes I can't. It won't stay there when my live is done, but I'm going to put grass-fed whey, and I will send you. Do you have a flavor that you would like? Chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla? Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway, let me know if you have a flavor. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You'll find them all. But this is how I've been helping people. And I'm telling you, it is such a joy to be able to see people come back with testimonies. I just did, if you go on my Instagram or my Facebook, business or personal, you will see the post that I did last night. You'll see her. It's like a little blue square with her, with some screenshots of texts inside of it. And on January 24th, she told me that, she started back in July with this, what I'm just going to share with you. And she was to all of them. Okay, perfect. She was just told that her doctor was putting not diabetic in her chart. That's really, really, really exciting. Okay. And then there are just a myriad of other testimonies. I have so many. I'm actually asking the question how to really compile them so it's easier. I have a lot of them on a Google sheet right now, but I don't think it's super easy for you guys to see them. They're also at the top of my Instagram page. But I always start with targeted supplementation, because if you can launch your body into being able to be more insulin sensitive, you, in my opinion, will be less frustrated. But then I teach ingredient trade outs. So this is kind of how this goes. I'm live here Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, unless I'm traveling or it's a holiday. And then I have a Facebook group, and it's called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can get in there, and I will do a challenge every month. We do a 5-day challenge. Our 22nd one is coming up March 11th, Monday, March 11th. And in the meantime, when anybody starts with I think it's all orders. It should be all orders. I would have to double check. All orders should be getting a free protein guide that will help you to understand the breakdown, and something that you can have like on your phone and just kind of walk you through that. When you get into the group, you'll be tagged in a free recipe pantry PDF, and then we have the challenge. So learning how to, like, Terry is always a really good example, because she did all of it. She did the grain-free and the sugar-free and the supplementation, and lost 40 pounds in 8 months, and she's 62. So you can take these steps, and you can change the way your body is functioning from the inside out. And if you, and I'm not going to go into it here because I spent the last 2 days talking about it, but if you know that you have fatty liver or visceral fat and you're looking to lose inches for the spring or summer, go back to my replays. I'm aging myself. Go back to my replays from yesterday or the day before on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And I'm giving you those testimonies of people who have their visceral fat numbers have gone down and their inches have gone down substantially from, I have an orange pixie stick. It's a thermogenic. So go back and listen to that if you need that. But the trio are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And they're helping with your sugars and your insulin and your liver and your metabolism, etc. And it literally is where I started a little over 10 years ago. I've already taken mine this morning. I do this every day, just like clockwork, because it literally supported me to lose 3 sizes in my 50s. And I'm convinced, and I can't make claims, I only tell stories, but I'll tell you my story. I'm convinced that for me, it is why I avoided type 2 and why I am the only one in my immediate Italian family that did. Okay. I'm convinced. And I know that that was a piece of the puzzle of the customer that just texted me and said, they just put not diabetic in my chart. And she started the trio in July. So I am not telling you that you can out supplement a really bad diet. Don't ever, ever think that that's what I'm saying. That's why I teach food. You have to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. Don't be ridiculous. There is no magic potion that fixes all of our like bad food information and availability. We have availability to some of the worst food on the face of the planet because of all of the chemicals. Like I have a friend that's in Tanzania and he just shakes his head when he comes over here. He's like, he brings a lot of his own food. No lie. And he's had it stolen from him, like in customs. He's had it stolen. He'll bring his own rice. He'll bring his own coffee. He'll bring his own lots of different stuff because he just shakes his head. He will only eat organic when he comes over here. He's like, you guys are nuts. Like, yeah, I know. That's why we've got issues. That's why we have issues. So if you need to be on a journey and you need somebody like myself in your back pocket because you don't want to do this alone, then don't sabotage. Reach out to me. My information is everywhere for a reason. I have an inbox everywhere for a reason, right? I even have a number you can text. So don't ever feel like I'm not available because I work hard to be very present and very available because I want to walk that journey with you. I want to find out what your success story is going to be. And then I know that I have done my job. I have taught you how to fish. I've taught you, now you have a key for the rest of your life. That's the whole goal. All right. See you later. Oh, okay. Yep. Have a blessed day. I will send you information on the grass-fed whey protein powder that just launched today. OMG. I'm going to get off and go order and have a really good day. I'll see you back here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. So have a good day. Can't wait to go talk to people in my messages.